Celtic Ligers.
Try it sometime.
Celtic Ligers.
All right. I'm recording now.
Me too.
All right, cool.
Me
So,
too.
me too. Hashtag me too.
Yeah, I thought that was over.
I put that up there. I'm recording and I'm going hashtag me too.
With regards to what?
That I'm recording.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So on Twitter, somebody's going to see that and I was like, hey, I'm recording as well. Hashtag me too.
Hashtag I stand with her.
Yeah. Hashtag I stand with Israel.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good place to start. Which side are you on?
It's good for a podcast to have like debate and controversy. So, which side are you on? So I can just take the opposite side.
I'm pro-Palestine.
Okay, you put me in a difficult position here.
Yeah.
Ooh.
More specifically, I'm pro.
Can't believe you did this to me. But whatever the audience needs, the clicks and the likes and all.
Yeah. Are you pro-Palestine or pro-Hamas?
I don't. Sorry. I just like every time when it comes up with Hamas, I'm just like, I'm not answering that. I'm not even answering that question.
You're like,
do you know what I mean?
What's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. No. I'm already like on, even though we're friends and having a chat, you asked me that and I'm already like getting my back up. Not like as I'm angry, but I was almost like a fight or flight instinct. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, what is this question? Is it a trap? I'm not going to answer that. How about you answer for Israeli? Just losing it immediately. And it's just like, just having a friendly chat with your friend and you can't even do that because you get too wound up about the idea of,
Yeah. I'm pro-Iran. That's what side I'm on. Pro-ISIS. Anything that helps.
Are they still going?
Yeah. We're still going. We still have a following.
Yeah, you're like an intern on their Facebook social media manager for ISIS,
Or like they're a football team. Yeah, we're still doing okay.
Yeah. Oh, we gave you a bit of a kick in there last weekend, didn't we? Do you know what? Last weekend? You mean 2012? Okay, or was it? When was it? Was it 2014? When was the Paris attack?
When was Vice?
That was the last big hit.
When was Vice popular? I feel like they were sort of hand in pocket, as they say, hand in each other's pockets.
Well, now they're owned by the Saudis, Vice
and ISIS.
So
they could be. You don't know.
I don't know.
So's football. So isn't it? Well, golf certainly.
Or the Qatari, government. Apparently, it's pronounced Qatar.
Nah.
Like it's closer to Qatar than it is Qatar.
No, I don't believe that. But they pronounce my name right.
Yeah.
I'll pronounce theirs.
Edit that out. Just putting a time stamp down. What are we?
I'm in the Qatari royal family, just to be.
Yeah. It's okay to be racist to them,
Yeah.
They chopped up a journalist. Come on. Oh wait, the Qataris didn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, they killed a bunch of migrants building a football stadium for a mid-World Cup, so where nobody could get drunk. So, who's the real villain here? Do you know?
Yeah, Khashoggi.
I saw this.
He shouldn't have written what he wrote.
I put out one of the most lame lib tweets ever the other day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it was that lame, but it definitely was smug, like an obnoxious kind of. So like somebody had posted, apparently the Saudis were like, we do not condone harming unarmed civilians, and I mean like unarmed, unlegged, unheaded.
Yeah, Khashoggi.
Yeah.
Did they reply?
And then I posted it, and then no, because it was somebody retweeting it, but they liked it, and they're kind of a very prominent left
Far-right
Brit
figure.
type account. yeah.
Tommy Robinson liked my tweet.
It's like a guy on Twitter. Maybe you remember him. His image is like a hamster, but there's like a white background on it.
No.
All he does all day is just post about the Labour Party and how shit it is now.
And then why was he
And,
tweeting about the Saudis?
Just taking a break, you know. I mean, because like the Tories and Labour are bending over backwards to see who can show more allegiance to the Israelis, aka Jews, because that's what they think, you know. And so then, like, that's literally it. It's like, you know, I am so not anti-Semitic that I will bludgeon this Palestinian toddler's head in right in front of you. That's how not anti-Semitic I am, you know. So like that's what's led to it. There's a lot of responses to Israel, the whole thing in Palestine and whatever. Already I'm getting the word in my head. There's so many names, so many terms.
Yeah, Israel,
the point
Palestine,
is that
Tories, Labour.
they
How could you
they
remember?
asked Keir Starmer. Like, so what do you think about this? And he's like, Israel has a right to defend herself.
Did he say that?
He called it herself. He did, yeah. And I was just like, and
yeah,
then
he won't.
Rishi Sunak.
He won't call
Yes.
they them by their name, but he'll call Israel by herself.
Literally the day before at like a Labour conference, he's like, they were like, or on an interview at some BBC radio thing, they were asking him like, what do you think of Rishi Sunak's comments about how a woman can't have a penis? And he was like, that's true. A woman can't have a penis. You know, he just parroted it immediately. And then of course, yeah, the next day, Israel herself was like, okay, interesting. The people who get pronouns.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's try to cancel Keir Starmer.
I actually like I don't know if you've like you're not really online in any big way, but like they ambushed Corbyn while he was walking down the street and were like, do you condemn Hamas? And then he was like, I condemn all violence and the occupation needs to end. And then they went, you didn't answer the question. And he like in a rare moment of Corbyn just like, excuse me. He's just like right up and he's just like all these people around him, this journalist like dipshit behind him was like tapping him on the shoulder to get him to condemn. And then they like, you know, now it's the Labour conference this week over in the UK, so they keep bringing up Jeremy Corbyn, like, what do you think about Jeremy Corbyn not condemning Hamas? And they're like, yeah, it just goes to show how far the party's come. And then like, I'm not even going to get into all the stuff, but the thing that just drives me crazy where it's like, you've won. You fucking won, man. Do you know what I mean? Can you just leave the man be? Can you leave me be? Do you know?
I know. It's like what they did to Khashoggi.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
They kept cutting him up even after he was dead.
Yeah, they kept cutting him off when he was trying to respond to
when he was trying to say his
debate,
pronouns.
you know. And they're cutting him up, and then he's going, excuse me, I didn't interrupt you, as they're like severing off his arm and all this type of shit. And, you know,
Yeah.
That's debate.
And then maybe his dick gets cut off. And that's a whole political thing.
Yeah.
Which we won't go into now.
I'm not even going there, you know?
Two things we want to talk about is that and Israel.
I don't even, like, we're not going to talk about let's go back to racism. Let's go back to the racism from a few minutes ago. That was a good morning though on Saturday morning when somebody was like, hey look, the lads are flying in on hang gliders over the Iron Dome.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was mad. That was like I don't know, it was like something out of Elysium or something.
Yeah.
It's like something out of
the
Israel-Palestine conflict.
It's like something out of the famous movie Fly Away Home from 1994, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Where they have to get in a similar hang gliding device to teach some geese how to fly. And a paquin's in it, I believe. I'm not.
Yeah, the woman wants to clip the goose's wings. Do you remember that?
I'd actually never seen the movie. I just remember the trailer on the VHS a million times.
So they find a load of geese.
Hmm.
Not a golden egg in sight. And then the woman wants to clip their wings.
Okay.
And then they develop a flying sort of hang glider with an engine on it.
Yeah.
And then,
But that was exactly what they were doing. Yeah.
but there's layers of engines.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
That is like a fly away
It's crazy though that the other thing about it was like I was looking, I was like, oh wow, there's like the guy on a hang glider like that has an engine that's flying over them, and then like it turns out there was two people on it. There's like one guy flying the thing, and then one guy with like a fucking rocket launcher on the back, or like with a gun or something. And then they land in this festival, and then like they're like unbelievable. They mowed down these civilians, and then it was like, weren't they like mostly people? I was like, it was a festival for peace. That's what they kept bringing up. It's like, no, it wasn't. And even
Yeah.
if it was, that would be incredibly lame, you know? Like,
Yeah.
imagine having like a festival for peace next to an open air prison.
Yeah.
And just like, but no, it wasn't. It was it was like an EDM festival. And most of every time it's like, they just kidnapped this poor woman. And then it was like, was she in the IDF? Yeah. But like, that's because everybody has to be in the
Yeah.
IDF. I was like, well, they're on the road, man. You know, they're in the game.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, like, you know, a lot of the civilians in Israel, they like live in like illegal
Yeah,
territory
exactly.
and stuff.
yeah,
So they're also like colonizers. It's like
yeah,
they're part of
yeah.
an they're part of like a military thing where they're like
yeah,
pushing the boundary, and then the military have to defend them. And then that like
exactly.
allows
That's the
them
whole
to-
point of it.
So by virtue of being there,
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're fair
and then to
game,
have a
but-
party next to it. I mean, like you're talking about like next to a place where people don't have clean drinking water, and you got 2 million people living in an area the size of, you know, Munster. Do you know, and it's like, you know, why are we like I think it's just like I was thinking about this as well in terms of like the Eurovision. Like, remember when Eurovision was in Israel, and it was like, if Hamas had blown up there, and it was like, think of all the people inside. It was like, if you could sit in there enjoying a concert and not give a shit about anybody for a few miles down the road, I'm not like, you know, I'm not exactly going to be like, oh, they deserve to die, but I'm not really going to be shedding any tears either. To be
Yeah.
honest, you know, like I'm not caught up about it. But I, you know, like, and then you have this mad like empirical power, which is just getting a bloody nose, and it's like, I'm just gonna like enjoy this in a completely, you know, as possible as you can, a completely apolitical way, to just see these bullies just get something happens once to
Yeah.
them, you know. Anyway, maybe that's a bit bloodlusty. I found myself feeling, I was like, God, I'm like one of these fucking like, you know, the centrist Ukrainian dads are like, get some orc scalps, make them bleed. you know,
Yeah.
like-
I feel like the rugby dads, they don't know about orcs. I feel like the people who call them
I
orcs.
think they do.
Now, where do they know about orcs from?
Well, I don't know, because of my interaction with them online. I mean, these are
would
the
your
people
dad know?
online, but
Would your dad know what an orc is?
no, but the people in the BlackRock WhatsApp group he's in would definitely know. Do you know?
I feel like
I
they
think
just
it
call
is
them
something that's more
savages.
Dublin.
No,
Yeah.
in Dublin they don't know what orcs are either.
I don't know. I'm basing it off of this guy called Brian Lucy, who's like a Trinity lecturer, and he's
Lucy's a
constantly
girl's
talking
name.
about the orcs. Yeah, but his first name is Brian.
May-
Paying attention.
Maybe you should focus on getting his name right. Let's look up this Brian Lucy.
Oh, he's the most demented guy. If anybody knows of him, he's like a columnist as well, and I think he's in like economics or something. He's like a lecturer of that.
Economics
all
is
of his
made
stuff
up
is
as
just-
well.
Yeah, yeah.
Brian
He's
Lucy.
completely unhinged though. And guess what I'm pretty sure I can guess what he thinks about Israel Palestine as well.
Well, they can't both be orcs. Can can you send me his profile?
Yeah, let me look it up.
Um,
Oh, brother. Yeah, my Twitter is it's a cesspool these days now, but like in particular at the moment, it's like.
And of course,
it's just
nowadays, since we last did one of these, it's called X.com.
X.com. Kiss.com. Like a little kiss. You know, I love that Elon Musk is like, he's such a, if you open up the general text.
Yeah, we're using Discord as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were hoping to watch something later on, and I got a little taster. I haven't watched any
I
of
don't know
it,
how this works.
but I got a little taster at the start, and it's very
Discord
good.
channel. Wait, what are we watching?
A certain Mr. Linehan.
Twitter.com, Brian Lucy. Brain Lucy. Because his brain is loose.
That's good.
It's not bad.
Okay, yeah.
Let's get this up. Let's get this party started. What else has changed in the world since we...
Oh yeah, I should check the WhatsApp, because I was dropping stuff in there. What else has changed?
Brian Lucy. He's on Mastodon. That's good.
Gotta, yeah. Really speaks to the Mastodon.
Finance
Late Show
professor,
host.
proud father, angry taxpayer, bad gardener,
Yeah, there you go.
everything personal, retweets are not endorsements.
Beg to differ.
Let's see now.
Fucking bollocks.
I'll just do on 19th of December 2019 he tweeted, so I have no idea where this comes from, but it is brilliant. And it's a map, and it says Republic of Krakistan.
Where the fuck is that? What is
And
it?
it's-
Did you just go into his images or something?
No, it's like his tweet, and then it's so it says England and Wales, United Kingdom of England and Wales, literally no crack whatsoever. I don't know why he's sort of leaving, why he was saying Wales is no crack. And then Scotland, the Irish Republic and Northern Ireland, so he's maintaining the border in this one. Even though it's all one republic, they're the Republic of Krakistan.
I'm desperately searching for this image and I cannot see it.
Scroll through his tweets.
I am. I'm down at like, he's got his tweets so much.
Maybe it's because I'm not signed in.
It's literally all stuff about Ukraine and how there is no amount of money that is too much to give Ukraine to murder all these people. Do you know? Not murder these people. But anyway, whatever. Like, he's bloodthirsty. I don't really. War is war. Do you know?
Dude, it's on his website.
Yeah, you should look at some of his blog post entries. I was distracted by them while you were talking for a second there. Sorry.
What an ugly man. First of
Yeah,
all,
I know.
First of all, he's ugly.
Yeah.
Second of all, here's his phone number.
That's not his phone number. Is not up there, is it?
It is. You can ring. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It's you can find it if you go to brianmlucy.wordpress.com.
Yeah, Brian is Brian. Lucy is Lucey.
Yeah. And he
So
just
look over on the recent posts. Look at just the headlines if you read them.
Where does it say recent? Oh yeah. 10 things we know more about than the level of service land. What does that mean?
Don't really know, but the next one was the one I was, and the next two basically.
30 thoughts on 30 years in academia.
I was just deliberately skipping over them.
Talk to the blockchain. Talk to
talk-
blockchain. Talk to the block. Talk to blockchain.
Talk to the blockchain because the face ain't listening.
The fiat ain't listening.
Oh, that's good, man. We're back. We're so back.
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
100% back. Immediately, straight away, straight out of the door.
Effortless.
Talk to the blockchain on the present state of cryptocurrencies. TCD, Ukraine, and the moral need to speak up. So not to do anything, just to speak up.
Oh yeah, he was also during COVID. He really, he's like a COVID skeptic. So, how dangerous do people think COVID actually is? Question mark. I think he was COVID. Let me look at this.
Oh, here is things that Ireland can do despite being neutral and weak. Immediately cease all things with Russia.
Wait, is that really what he said?
What? Which bit?
How Ireland can not be from neutral and weak.
I think it said help despite being neutral and weak.
Okay, that's a funny way to phrase that. Oh yeah, the neutrality, it's a weakness. We're fucking weak, you know.
Well, if he sees Russians as the orcs, he must see himself as
Legolas.
like Saruman. Wait. Which one is? Who made the orcs?
There's Sauron and there's Saruman. And Saruman was like, you know, I think Saruman is Christopher Lee in the movies, and
He made the orcs.
I think so.
Maybe he should be Galnath.
Yeah, he should be Galandor.
He
He's
should be
Merry and Pippin.
Wait, what if he's? Now this is a bit of a throwback. What if he's Gammon?
Oh, that's pretty good. That's actually very good. Again, very much back. Let's see. What about there's Smeagol and obviously Gollum. But if Gollum, Gammon, obviously that's a good one.
Again.
I know I'm using
That's
your
fine.
one, but Smeagol would be fucking Fingal.
Smeagol is Gollum.
Yeah, I know, but like, you know, we're just riffing it out now. We're just trying to see if fucking hell.
And so you're saying, I know we're riffing, but you're saying that he's also Gollum.
No, I'm like, yeah, if he was Smeagol, he'd be, you know, fucking. Or let's do it. This better one was obviously if he was Gollum, he'd be Gammon, you know, and if he was fucking Hobbit, he'd be Throbbit.
He'd be.
I'm losing track of it here.
See, I feel like he just wouldn't be a hobbit because the hobbits were the good guys.
Look, it's just you got two good ones in, and I'm kind of like panicking. And
we've 40 minutes left. We've plenty of time. You'll get it. You'll have one.
I like the worst part about it, my mind is just going blank on all
Okay.
characters from Lord of the Rings. Okay.
Well, don't think of any of the good ones because he's not any of them. So he could be Saruman.
Who's the Mad King? What was his name?
I don't know.
Who was like?
I know what he looks like.
What about Smaug? Except it's like fucking hog because he's a fucking pig.
Yeah. He's a,
Yeah?
he's a big pig.
I'll do like a Tolkien pronunciation. Hog. You know.
Yeah.
Did you saw the movie? Did you? The Hobbit movie.
Yeah. For some reason, I did.
I was excited, and then I watched it, and I was like, I watched all three of them in the cinema, and the third one that I saw, it was really like it was so boring and punishing and miserable. But you know the way like Jackson like ends the movies like a million times. You know, it'll be like, oh, this guy died. Oh, and then this guy died. But then the main guy died. And then they go back to the Shire. And then they go on the boat. And you're just like, fucking hell. But like this time they had like a battle between, like, I think it was like between one of the dwarves and a white orc. Okay.
A white orc.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Freaking Putin.
Who's the guy who made the Wagner Group?
Prigozhin. Also,
Yeah,
since we were off the podcast, Prigozhin, I found out he existed and then he died. Okay. That's actually something that's happened since we've been off.
We hardly knew ye.
The war in Ukraine, that happened since we left. But anyway, the point is,
Began and ended.
Began and ended. It's already just in the past hour. They sorted it out. Putin agreed to only occupy the territories on Saturdays and Sundays, and
Yeah.
they have them the rest of the week. I don't know. I
Who's
don't know
they?
anything about it. I really don't. Not paying attention to any of that at all anymore. If I
Joe
did to
Biden
begin
got
with.
elected.
We were actually there for that. We did a live podcast. When we
But
did
he's
one
still
on that
there, which is
Still
unexpected.
there. Somehow
Somehow
he'll be
he's
there in
even
like
older.
10 years. But what was I going to say to you? Yeah, so in the cinema, they killed this orc once, and he was like, "Oh, he's down," and then he got back up. Oh shit! Thorin's got to get him again, and he gets him again, and then the orc like falls through the ice, and he's got chains wrapped around him, and he's like, "Oh, he's gone," and then he bursts out of the ice again. He's like, "Oh, I'm back," and it like literally was like that. He was like, "Oh, he's dead. Oh no, he's back. Oh, he's dead. Oh no, he's back." And there was a kid in the cinema who literally started crying and was like, "He's like, he's dead. He's dead. It's over." And he was like a little kid. He was just like. He just knew that the movie was over once this guy died, and he kept coming back, and the kid was like crying because he just wanted to leave the cinema.
Yeah, he just had an innate sense of pacing, and this was destroying his brain.
Yeah, exactly. And then like they asked like Viggo Mortensen, like, "Oh, would you come back?" He's like, "No. Why would I come back? My character wasn't in The Hobbit, okay?" And then they did him dirty by going like, "There's a guy that I've got to meet. They call him Ryder or something like that." Do you remember? Because his name was like the Ryder, and I was just like, just Vigo said he didn't want to be in it. Could you just leave him alone? Do you know, like he didn't show up. His name was just mentioned. No,
He was just there off screen.
they would just said like, "Oh, this guy, I gotta go meet him," and you know that it's gonna be Aragorn. But
Yeah.
it's like let's just
And then-
don't.
You know, another thing that's come in is the phrase pause. Have you heard of pause?
I heard of pogs, homina. Yeah.
You have.
And I'm not talking about pogs like
No.
tiddlywinks, I'm talking about big asses.
Yeah. But have you heard of
think-
pause?
Pause, what's that? Piece
Like,
of shit?
no, it's like when someone does something and you go pause. There's
No.
we'll see if you can glean it from context because I'm about to use it.
Okay.
So, who was it that said the thing?
Which thing?
The was to go meet your man. Viggo Mortensen.
Go meet your man.
Yeah, who was to go meet the writer?
Oh, I think Gandalf said it.
Right, so Gandalf says to me, he's like, I have to go meet a man called Ryder.
Yeah.
I'd be like, pause. You're going to
What's
ride a
guy?
man?
I don't know. Yeah. I thought you were going to say pause as he's positive. Like he's
No,
paused.
it just means like, hold up, hold up. Like that.
Record scratch. You're
Yeah.
meeting a man?
It's called Ryder?
Yeah. I said Ryder. I didn't even know her.
Yeah, and it's a man. And he's
Yeah.
80 years old.
How old is Aragorn actually?
I think he's
He's
80.
80, is he? Yeah. But at the time of The Hobbit, how old was he then?
30?
I don't know. I'm not
So,
sure.
the Lord of the Rings takes place and Bilbo is 122.
Okay, yeah.
144, sorry.
Yeah.
And then, how old is he in The Hobbit? 50?
I think he is. I think he's 50. That makes sense to me.
Well, that means... I need to look this up. How old
It's
is
gonna bug me.
Aragorn?
This is going to bug me otherwise. I thought he was like 110.
Who?
That makes no sense. Aragorn. Don't mind me.
He could be.
Or just write Aragorn age during Hobbit. He was around 10 years old.
That's what it says.
On Quora, yeah. Which I find funny because then that's like, I gotta go meet this 10-year-old called Ryder. He's very impressive, you know.
I hope he lives up to his name. Well, that was worthwhile.
Yeah, pleasant diversion. Yeah.
So let's go through this WhatsApp group that we have.
Yeah, I didn't know if you saw. Oh, fuck it hell. There's a guy who was attacked in Dublin during the summer, like an American, and he
DJ
became
Carey.
sort of like. No, that's a different guy.
He's in hospital.
And he wasn't attacked. That was funny though.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture?
Yeah, that's a great picture.
So there's a picture where he pretends he has cancer. So as photographic evidence, he tries to pretend that he's doing like chemo or something. But what he has is a plaster stretched over his face, and then an iPhone cord, a cable, charging
Up his
cable going
nose.
up his nose.
Then he's just in his own bed.
Yeah.
Or like on the couch.
It's also, the whole thing is weird because you look at his eyes, and then once you know that, like, I mean, if you should know already, but like he's got like some sort of like makeup on his eyes to make him look a little more tired. But then the cable itself is going under his shirt, like down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like-
it's like, why would they run it down your shirt?
You just put the cable up your nose. Okay, you can put your shirt back on while that work goes. And I feel like that wouldn't happen, you know? Anyway.
No, that's what you do with your headphones in school.
Yeah.
Did you ever do
Put them
that?
up your nose and pretend that you're listening to your brain.
Yeah.
That's a good gag. I never did that. Never did that at all.
You never did a which?
Put my headphone end up my, whatever. It's all good.
The shirt or your nose?
My nose.
We used to put them up the jumper, and then it was just less obvious that you were listening to music in class.
Oh, right, yeah. So he's trying to be like, make it less obvious that he's getting chemo.
Yeah.
It's like, this teacher's looking. I can't be seen like I got chemo, you know?
Yeah.
All of this stuff is like so old at this point.
Well, what's the last
Pat
thing you
Leahy-
said?
Huh?
Well, let's talk about the...
The Late Late Show.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, who cares? Fucking gives a shit.
There's a new Late Show guy. We watched a documentary that he did when we were in Cork together.
Yeah, I didn't finish that.
Did we not?
No, we only made it a little bit of the way in, but it was like
So first of all,
somehow,
what's his
despite-
name?
Patrick Keelty. He's now the new host of the Late Late Show.
Yeah. Paddy O'Keefe.
And, so we were like, so I was like, oh, what's he going to be like? So I looked up like a clip of his stand-up from like 2008, and he was just like, Amy Winehouse looks like she stinks of fucking piss, doesn't she? And you're just like, oh, that's awful. I don't like that at all. What was the clip that we watched though when you were down? Do you remember we watched some of his stand-up and it was really cruel about
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was about though.
It was sort of like, if your name's Khashoggi, you want to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, and I'm going to take your mouth and
Put it
leave it
on.
on the freaking floor after I've used a Black & Decker on it, you know?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what he said. He probably just said some inane bullshit about travellers or something. That's the sort of thing he'd do.
Yeah, it was just like classic 2008, everything is mean.
He's the sort of guy who liked how mean Tommy Tiernan could be.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but with not like, but he's doing it about just like really generic sort of broad consensus material. Like Amy Winehouse
Yeah.
is a bit weird, isn't she? The fucking slag. I hope she dies. And you're just
Yeah.
like, good lord. Because that was one of his jokes, was like, I know it's not good to, because when I said that Amy Winehouse stinks of piss, I was only like
You meant it.
partially, he did say that. He said, Amy Winehouse looks like she stinks of piss, okay? And then he said, I know it's ill, I know you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead. And at this point, because I was like, oh, she was dead, but then the audience was like kind of confused, and he's like, and I know she's not dead yet, but you got to cover your bases with someone like her. And I
Amy
was like,
Winehouse used to be. I'm pretty sure Neil Patrick Harris had a cake of Amy Winehouse
yeah,
after she died,
I'm looking that up.
and it was not kind. Now,
Really?
I can't remember where I learned that, if I dreamt it up, but it feels true.
No, you're right. Cake. I just wrote in cake Neil Patrick Harris, and it said it finished it off Amy Winehouse food platter. Okay. Neil Patrick Harris. Oh, that is fucking awful. Have you seen that picture?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
It's
I didn't want to ruin
fucking
How I Met Your Mother.
Vile.
I
Like
didn't
just
want
the
to.
picture of it is so disgusting. It's like Amy Winehouse's mutilated corpse, honestly. And her mouth is like open and bloody, and all of her teeth are falling out. She's missing an eye. Okay.
That's horrible.
Oh my god. When the fuck was that?
Neil Patrick Harris.
10 years since he served the meat platters. 10 years and... Oh my god. So
Was
she
she-
died in 2011, and he did that in 2012.
Jesus.
Oh my god. Oh, that makes me so... Have you seen that documentary about her?
No, I actually find the story too sad to deal with.
I know, no, you're right as well, because the documentary is just like her dad is basically
Yeah.
the guy who did like Senna, and he was like, oh, that guy's great, here's a bunch of footage of me hanging out with Amy, like just make a documentary. And he's just like complete arrogance that he thought that he would come off looking in any way good in this documentary. Do you
Yeah,
know?
like I've heard there's like her last concert or something. She's really like out of it on stage. It just sounds very depressing.
Well, there was a bit where she's like, she overdosed, and then she was like, had to get away to, you know, just clear her head and detox. And so she went to like, and stayed on a Hawaiian island, okay? And he came to visit her. And they have this footage of like, clearly the word has gotten out around the town that she's there. So there's like some people at the front door, or like at the gates, just going like, looking in, trying to see her. And then her dad goes down, and then he's like, hey, how's it going? And then they're like, is Amy Winehouse in there? It's like, yeah, she is. You should come on up. And
Really?
like and he brings her up, and then they just have this footage of like him going like, they just wanted to see you for a second. And she's like, I'm really not, I don't want to do this. I'm not in them. And he's like, don't be so rude. Don't be so rude, you know? And so she comes out and she's like, hi, how are you doing? And then she starts taking a photo with them, and then they go, we're all so sorry to do this. And she's like, if you were sorry, you wouldn't do it. So, and then they left, and then her dad's like, why were you so rude to them? Why were you so rude to them? It's just like, it was one of the most like unpleasant bits. You're just like,
Yeah, it's horrible.
everybody let her down. And Patrick Keelty thinks that that's hilarious.
Neil Patrick Harris.
And Neil Patrick Harris was like, so much, it's even funnier. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
All right.
The sound of applause. Well, I actually couldn't hear anything.
Oh, okay. No, it's not. He couldn't hear
I
anything.
could just see
Good.
you glaring at someone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Zaino's making dinner.
Right.
Just getting mad at her.
She's just making dinner for herself, is she?
But yeah, like Neil Patrick Harris Keelty. Patrick
What
Harris
might he
Keelty.
be like? He'd be like,
He basically
Shit.
Patrick Keelty except gay.
he'd be like, Sinn Féin leaders have to be crazier than they are, hotter than they are crazy.
Mm.
Remember that bit from How I Met Your Mother?
I never watched really any of that.
Really?
For some reason, I watched the last episode because I used to be of the opinion like these are important TV moments, and I kind of want to be here. Literally, would be like watch the last episode of Lost, never having watched one beyond the second season, and being like, this is important that I'm here though to witness this.
Just be like, that's
And then
mad.
watch. I know, yeah, but then like you watch like this episode, you're just like, all right, whatever, I don't fucking care, you know. Like,
Yeah, I heard the last episode of How I Met Your Mother was a bit of a letdown
Not to me.
for us fans. Yeah, because he marries Robin.
Yeah, well, like what happens is, the whole thing is like, let me tell you about your mother, and he goes on about her and her forever and ever, and then they meet in the last season, and then she like dies halfway through the last episode, okay, and then his kids are like, listen, Dad, you don't need to talk to us anymore. We know why you want to tell us about Mom, and it's okay. We give you permission. And he's like, really? We love Aunt Robin.
To fuck our aunt.
And so he heads over to her house, okay?
Yeah.
And I guess like Barney is not dating her anymore or something. I think that
Barney's
happened
off
at one point.
designing cakes.
Yeah.
He has other things to do.
And they're not your fucking granddad's cakes either. These ones. Happy birthday. What? Happy birthday. Happy death day, more like. Or I don't know, whatever. I'm going to stop there. Because I'm making myself upset. I shouldn't even. Sorry, Amy, But the thing that they did. So I'm watching this episode and I'm like, okay, I guess maybe this makes sense or it doesn't. And then he's standing beneath her window and they have like a bunch of old age makeup on him. And he holds up like a blue tuba. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck
From
that
the
means.
first episode.
Yeah, I know. And then like I told my sister and she's like, oh, that's from the first episode. I was like, oh, right, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then what does Robin say?
She just kind of shakes her head. Like,
No.
oh, you. Like
Too
that,
late.
Oh, well, or maybe it's too late. Who knows,
Yeah. Let me get my Vagisil.
Let me be from Canada or one of the jokes. Or I'm a vegan who eats, and I fucking, bacon. Epic bacon,
Yeah.
That was a lot of stuff in that show, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah, it would have been like...
shitting on vegans and loving bacon.
Yeah, they would have said bacon is epic and fat girls are annoying and
Yeah,
stuff
and
like
a
that.
good glass of scotch, probably.
Yeah,
I
Suit Up?
remember Suit Up. Yeah, okay. I remember that, yeah.
yeah. Words to live by. Words to die by.
Mainly all I know about How I Met Your Mother comes from like Imgur when I used to be on that, and people just be like, hey, Neil Patrick, like, what's Barney when, like, he was right when they said, like, there was for some reason Barney and Ron Swanson, and both of them, they were like, this is the ideal man. He drinks scotch, he likes bacon. That was a big thing. What's up?
No, I just wanted to say that also
Submarine sandwiches were a euphemism for
Pot.
weed.
Smoking weed.
Yeah, smoking that ganja.
Eating the weed sandwich. What would
Eating
Bar-
weeds.
what would Barney make of the political Palestine debacle?
Yeah, would he be pro or anti-Palestine?
First would he
I
be
know that-
like, I want Hamas. Hamas are in charge. Can I eat my bacon? Can I drink my scotch? No. Okay.
and then they'd be like, but there'd be no.
Go
I was
on.
going to say a trope. Isn't it the thing about they would always bring up in the mid 2000s? This isn't me. These are like panelist
Different
comedians
time. It's different
where they would
time.
talk about like virgins. Okay,
Yeah. What's wrong with? Yeah.
and he's like
Oh.
hearing about the virgins in paradise and going, interesting.
Interest. Yeah. Barney
Yeah.
would be like, interesting. Can I trade my bacon for a virgin?
Well, I know Neil Patrick Harris is. I think he's a big Zionist because I'm sure I haven't checked his Instagram today, and I don't want to because he's going to be in Doctor Who soon, and I want to be able to look at him without feeling bad. Do you know?
Yeah.
Did you like? I sent you that thing with Brett Gelman. You know Brett Gelman?
Yeah, it was so weird the way you were like, man, that one really hit me in the
I
gut.
just well,
I didn't
it,
even
wa- it
know.
was I
What's he in?
no.
I don't. I've
He's
never
in
seen
he's in
him
like a
anything.
lot of Tim Heidecker stuff, and he's like he's kind of bald. He's got a big beard.
Yeah,
he's
I
kind of
looked him
tubby.
up. I,
Yeah.
is he the guy who does the like comedians meeting up to talk about comedy? You know, when
Was
they're
he in
like,
that?
I got this bit with Tim Heidecker and this other comedian. And they like
Yeah.
meet in a cafe and they're just
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
I got this bit and it's about like Why the fuck are they giving you so many napkins in the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just find him. I kind of find him interesting, and kind of the people he was hanging like, and he was in Fleabag, and he was also in Stranger Things. So I just found his career quite eclectic and interesting. Do you know?
Do you like either of those?
I didn't like Fleabag. Well, season 2 had its moments, but I think it's a pretty obnoxious show, if I'm honest. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like Americans seeing a Fringe show for the first time and just thinking this just blows everything out of the water. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? It's just like a white woman, a rich white woman who's got problems, you know, with drinking, and you're just like,
does she have fleas? Is
that
a plot point?
well, her name is Fleabag.
That's her name.
Well, they never mention her name, but she's just referred to as Fleabag, like
She-
in the credits and shit. But yeah, it wasn't so much as well. Like, I expect a kind of baseline Zionism from most American celebrities, but his stuff was literally like, he would just be posting about how like Palestinians were basically like another species. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like he would be posting these completely uncorroborated stories about like they cut off this woman's head and then fucked her next to, you know, a bunch of dead bodies, and you're like, what in the world are you talking about? And then he would be like, you know, saying like completely ludicrous things about how like nobody gives a shit about Israel. Nobody cares that Jews are being killed. And I was like, what world are you living in, man?
Yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, just objectively not true. And then, but the other thing that he posted, which was doing the rounds as well, is people kept going, oh my God, this is barbaric. Look at Hamas keeping these kids in cages, okay? And then it turns out it's actually Palestinian kids being kept in cages by the IDF without even like, you know,
See
without
the-
even some, yeah. Hang on.
Did you see the thing you won from Halloween poster?
Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah.
It's
Yes,
just
yeah, I
like,
did see that.
Deaths
Yeah.
from above, and it's this family looking up at the sky
Yeah,
after being thrown out of it.
yeah.
And it's a Palestinian family.
Yeah, obviously it's a Palestinian family because Hamas do not have air support. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
they're flying in on
hanggliders.
gliders, you know.
Apparently she also compared the new Halloween film to Black Lives Matter.
Oh, I'd have to look that. Let me look that up. She says so many stupid things, and people are like, "Yes, slay queen," and then she says something like this, and it's like, "Oh, she's stupid, actually." And it's like, "Yes, man, she's always been stupid. She's always saying fucking dumb shit like that."
Used to be commonly accepted that actors were stupid.
Exactly.
Um,
Taika Waititi, by the way.
this is unrelated, but I'll let you tell you a bit. But I saw a thing. There's a clip, and it's Victoria Beckham. You seen this?
Yeah, I
And
did see that. Yeah,
she's
yeah.
talking to the camera. And she's like, "I grew up. I was a working class family,
Yeah.
and then my dad dropped me to school. And then David Beckham's like, you know, what car was it? What car was it? And then it turns out it's a Rolls Royce. You know.
Yeah.
And then I saw in all the comments, people were like, she's gone by too long on the working class aesthetic.
But her name was Posh Spice.
Her name was Posh Spice. I feel like that's retconning Victoria Beckham. I feel like her thing was,
That was the-
always like, I'm posh.
Yeah. I'd love if, like, you know, Mel C suddenly gained like a bunch of weight, and people were like, "This one is coasting on being called Sporty Spice." You know what I mean?
Scary Spice was on Piers Morgan once.
And she's not even scary.
Not even that scary. She's a bit scary, but she's not even that scary.
Yeah.
And you know the way he hates Meghan Markle and he loves the Queen.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "What do you think of the Queen?" And then she was like, "I love the Queen. She's such an inspiration." And what do you think of Meghan Markle? And she goes like, "You know, I just think Harry and Meghan, they're trying the hardest. It's not for me to judge. I don't want to get
Yeah.
political. He's like, they're not though. They're not trying their hardest. They're not good people. And like,
He's so strange. He's so
yeah, you like wouldn't let her dodge the question. She's like, I don't think that we should comment, but that's what we're here for, to comment. So how would you comment on Meghan
Yeah.
Markle? And
Well,
she just
like, that's the reason he lost his job, because of his tantrum over Meghan Markle. So it's literally he's just interviewing people, going like, "What do you think of her?" And then they're like, "I don't know. I don't really have an opinion." Yeah, she is a bitch. You know? Speaking of, this is an interesting segue.
Right,
Oh, yeah, but-
speaking
well-
of bitches, is that what you're gonna say? Speaking was that? Who you
No,
gonna
it
say?
wasn't. It was that Piers Morgan was taking a holiday during the summer. Okay.
Yeah,
And
well
so
deserved.
filling in for him on his talk show, some lady, I don't know, but she was more like even-handed than he was, and so it was around that time, like in August, I believe, where
even-handed.
yeah, more like kind of not fucking yelly, angry, right-wing reactionary.
yeah,
you know,
right.
she was just like, she was still right-wing, but she was kind of like, but they yeah, in August, Comedy Unleashed, our new favorite YouTube channel, they were
Yes.
doing a night in Edinburgh as part of the Fringe, and they were like, special guest to be announced, and then they announced a special guest, and it was like Graham Linehan, and then it was like, oh, the booker was just like, oh no, you're gone, like we're not going to put on that venue with that man,
Yeah.
and then like basically within a few hours, I think they'd found a new space and people were just moving over there. And so a lot of people were claiming that like, oh, it's a publicity stunt to try and be like, our comedy is so dangerous that the venue dropped us, So they had Graham Linehan on Talk TV, in which would normally have been Piers Morgan's show, okay? So
Yeah.
they had him on along with Grace Blakely, who's kind of a left-wing commentator. Although, like a lot of people have a bit of ill will towards her because she appears on channels like Talk TV. But and then they had on Peter Tatchell, who's the guy who a lot of these kind of conspiracy theorists get really upset about, because he was the one who condoned pedophilia in some article. Do you remember?
Okay.
Do you remember those like back in 2020 or 2021 when John Connor was outside Leinster House with those
Oh, yeah.
gallows people, and they were like, it was like apparently Roderick O'Gorman had been in a picture with Peter Tatchell, and it was like, Roderick O'Gorman's a pedo for being in a photograph with this guy who in an article previously had said that fucking maybe the age of consent. I don't know anything about it. I'm not getting involved in it. All I'm saying is that like the panel is stacked in like Graham Linehan's favor, because they invite Graham Linehan on to talk about it. So now Graham Linehan just come on and just be like, this is the stand-up they don't want you to hear, and just being like that. And eventually she just has to kind of go, Graham, we're going to have to cut you off now because you just keep listing people and saying that they're pedophiles, okay? And you're doing court case. You're in a court case at the moment, so it's probably not wise for you to do it, but it's definitely not wise for us to show it, And so we're just going to cut you off, and then they cut him off, and he's done, all right? And so then they cut back to like Grace Blakely and Peter Tatchell, and Peter Tatchell is like, oh, I believe in free speech, but this is just hate speech. And then Grace Blakely's like, I don't even know why you bother platforming him. He's just a fucking crazy guy, And then they're like, okay, well, Graham, you've got the right of response, so we're just going to get Graham back in at the end. And this guy, known pedophile, known groomer of young women and children, and it was just like, all right, bye, Graham. And then like the show got cancelled from the next venue, and that was like, so then they're like, we're going to bring it to the Houses of Scottish Parliament. So uploaded to YouTube, Graham Linehan stand up outside the Houses of Scottish Parliament, also including his stand up debut on Valentine's Day 2023. I was like, so James was down, and I was telling him about Comedy Unleashed, and we were watching like loads of footage of this guy called Dominic Frisby.
Yeah, that
who
guy
would just get
ruled.
up on he's
He
like,
ruled.
he would just get up on stage and be like, I read The Guardian recently, boo! Like, it was
And
just-
then his whole thing was like he wrote satirical songs that had no discernible point. What? We're not going to play one. I just want to get them up so I can remember what they were about.
we can play them though. We have the technology.
Maybe we can play one at the end. Play us
Okay,
out.
to play us out is Gammon.
What
What's
was
the
it?
Gammon one?
Oh yeah, the Gavin one was like, as far as I can remember, it's just him listing. He's like, they call us Gavin,
Yeah.
and then he just lists loads of pork products.
Yeah.
But there's no bit where he's like, so I'm proud to be a Gavin, or there's no bit where he's like, so it's not such a bad thing.
Oh no, he does do that
He doesn't.
because he's like, okay. Well,
What does he say?
We'll find out. Well, he just lists off. He says, "Oh, they call us all these nasty
Yeah.
things, but actually, pork is great and pigs are great. So proudly declare yourself a gammon." He tries to get the audience to sing along with them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the name of the song is "Gammon and Proud." So I don't know where you're getting that from,
All right, okay.
but it's really lame. Like
What's his name?
terrible piano, like spoken word. Dominic Frisbee.
What are other ones?
I don't know why I didn't see that.
Oh, do you remember the one? And it's the guy who used to be on the ad.
yes, the bank ads.
What
Who's the
happened?
bank ad? What happened? And it's about why are there trans people now? What happened?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
the
but
other
it's-
one, show me the way to Ancapistan. That one is the most. Like the most. What's the word I'm looking for? Where it's like specific to this one person's strange interests.
Here's one called I Love Weatherspoons.
No, he doesn't. Where the fuck is that? That's so stupid.
Yeah. Here's one called I'm Going to Marry Gary.
Okay.
Should be called I'm Going to Marry Gammon.
Yeah.
Social Justice Warrior was another one. I think. Here's one. It's another guy who's performing at Comedy Unleashed. And it's a guy, Frank Sinazzi. You know,
Is that like Frank Sinatra?
yeah.
And he's like Sinatra and a Nazi.
And it's called It's All Gone a Bit Third Reichy.
Fuck off. Ugh.
You
They're
should-
so annoying. They're so fucking annoying.
We should do we should do a whole episode on Comedy Unleashed.
Oh, we have to, yeah. Like the funny thing about him as well is that sometimes they get like Reginald D. Hunter in there because just have these comedians who are like, yeah, I'm about free speech, and it's like, it's organized by this guy called, I believe, Andrew Doyle, who is, I think he started off writing those Jonathan Pye sketches.
The other one is called Maybe Song. Do you remember that one? That was sort of the most weird one. It was like him being like, maybe. I can't remember what it's about. Just remember, it's great. It's a banger.
But yeah, we have to play some of the Graham Linehan stand up. Can we
Yeah,
please?
yes.
All right.
How
Fine.
long is it?
This one, it depends which one you want to watch. There's the one, his first time doing it, which is 13 minutes. We don't have to watch all of it, obviously. And then there is the one outside Scottish Parliament, which is 9 minutes and 33 seconds.
Probably the first one is more
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh my god! I just seen another video, an open letter to Eddie Izzard. You should see the stuff he says about Eddie Izzard.
I'd say that's fucking horrific.
It's vile. Because Eddie Izzard goes by she, her pronouns now.
Wait, I
And-
think she changed her name.
No, she still goes by Eddie, but like Susie is another name that she also goes by.
Right.
So it's Susie Eddie Izzard,
Okay.
and he just dead names her constantly.
Hmm.
Because he's got a memoir coming out soon, which I'm half tempted to read for content.
Yeah, you should definitely torrent it or something.
Oh, I'm not paying for it. That's not happening.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, they had an extract of it in like the Daily Mail, which I read,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's very funny. I mean, there's too much Graham Linehan stuff to get into, but like, there's two things released recently, that extract, and then he did an interview for like the Telegraph, and even the Telegraph is kind of has its work cut out for them trying to sort of like just push back gently on some of his transphobia. They're like basically like, I agree with you, but maybe just like this little bit, just kind of, because at one point in it he said that trans people have never made a compelling piece of artwork because they can't. Okay. And then even the person in the Telegraph was like, I really wanted to tell him, and then they list off a bunch of trans people who make good stuff, and then but he was in full swing in his rant and I couldn't like interrupt him, and I was like, I mean, you could have, but you clearly didn't want to, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, nobody can give me even one reason why I'm wrong. He keeps saying this, okay? And then he mentions a producer who was going to produce the Father Ted musical, and so apparently she pushed back on him and said like his views are abhorrent, and he goes, and she was just using the same cut and paste answers she couldn't get, and I was like, oh, so you just don't accept the answers, so that's, you know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit, you know? Like, he's completely unhinged. He kind of can't get through an interview, because everything that I've read by him over the past like 2 years, just because I hate myself, he'll start off and then he's just like somebody who's had a mental breakdown, because that's what it is. He just keeps going back to this one little anchored point, and he just you know, he'll be like, hey, how's it going, everybody? You know, like, I'm just this kind of poor guy, this schlub whose wife left him because of the pressures of this, that, and the other, and because of these fucking trans people. And then he just kind of start going nuts, and again start listing pedophiles and start listing, you know, did you know in Oklahoma, you know, in January 2016, this, you know, man walked into a changing rooms that he wasn't supposed to be in, and you're just like, I don't care, man. I don't fucking give a shit, you know. But anyway, so
how do we
let's play
watch this now?
Yeah, and let's see how long it takes him before he starts going. And I think this should work, but you'll have to tell me if you can.
Will it
hear
come up on the track?
No. I'll just have to slot it in later on. All right, can you see it?
Yes, it's coming. Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Yeah. Can
You
I hear
can?
it? I can hear
Yeah?
it. Yes.
Okay, cool. Let me just get your audio up really quickly, because I can't hear you over the video. Let's go voice and video. Just going to walk you through this. And I'm going to turn up the output volume. All right, now I can hear you too well, some might say.
You'll be hearing my laughter. Okay.
And here we go. Tell me when to pause if you want.
I'm going to pause. So the standing ovation. Actually, they'll be able to hear eventually.
They will, yeah.
Please remember, this is my 8th gig.
8th gig. You lied to me. I thought it was your first.
I work on my act. I try and prepare it for a new crowd. And who's sitting in the front row? But the penis lady.
What?
We're not on the show. Don't talk. I'm gonna, like, this is my problem. I can't even do
You get to the mic.
Me?
What?
Or
No,
him?
him.
Look, this is how great a comedian I am. No, look, I'll hold it.
Oh, it's just so miserable. It's just like... It's just giving me such...
Yeah. They love him.
If anybody who's performed comedy, you've seen this guy a million fucking times.
Men profiting off the labor of women. I just have to make sure it's always a turf crowd.
Oh.
They're just cheering.
Yeah, that's a slur.
No,
Yeah.
let's cut that short.
He can say it though. So
So, how's your month
Yeah,
been?
because he is... Yeah. He gets a pass.
I'll I'll tell you one thing, Rosanna Lockwood won't be talking about nonsense with Peter Tatchell sitting next to her. Ever again.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What did I do? I still don't know what I've done wrong. Banned from the Edinburgh Festival and the Conservative Party conference.
Oh, you fucker. This isn't the one. Whatever.
If there were still DVDs, I'd be able to put on it. Too hot for the Edinburgh Fringe.
That's good, man.
And the Conservative Party conference.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even laugh, Helen.
Sorry, did you see that? Helen. I wonder if that's Helen. Anyway, we'll find out.
And a McEntee.
Helen McEntee. No, Helen Lewis or Helen. What's the other one? Might be Helen Lewis, possibly. But I don't want to speculate. But sorry, I don't know if you know this, but he was meant to be on at a Conservative conference. So this stand-up was actually pretty recent then.
Why?
9 days ago.
And then why did they drop him?
Because he was vetted by like security and all these people, and they were like, this guy's actually like fucking crazy, or like somebody was involved where they were like, this guy is a bit of a head case. So just because of whatever report, because he did get as far as I know, he disputes this, but he was cautioned by a police department for harassing a trans woman.
I think he's a straight up restraining order.
He might now. I don't know. It's hard to tell because like, I basically just watch his stuff.
That's what
I only have his side of the conversation. A lot of the time, but I should look that up. But no, I can't remember what happened, but essentially he was seen as a controversial figure, so they were like, oh, like let's not invite him. But then eventually, because of the way the Tories are now, once he threw up a fuss, they just had him on anyway, because he's too controversial. And so he appeared on this lineup, and he said that he claimed that he was dropped from his TV agency because he had gotten into an argument with David Tennant, okay? And he was like, and then David Tennant unfortunately makes more money for them, so naturally I had to be dropped. So that was his reasoning. But in reality, David Tennant put a picture of himself wearing like a trans badge up because David Tennant's kid is non-binary, and Graham Linehan just called him a groomer. So like, so he's just like, yeah. Apparently, I was saying this on maybe I shouldn't preface that with anything I say on this podcast, but I did tweet that, like, turf is a slur, but you can call anybody a groomer, apparently. Do you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, let's back. So so apparently Edinburgh didn't have him, and then the Tories almost didn't have him, but they did, but he's still saying that they didn't. So I don't know.
People would be like, too hot for the Edinburgh Fringe. That must be pretty hot. And the Conservative Party conference. So it's been a bit of an insane month, as you can imagine.
Oh yeah, wait, one other thing real quick. Sorry
how
about
are you going to edit this in? If we're going to pause it.
Shit, no, yeah, you're right. Fuck. I can't believe you thought of that and I didn't.
What's the best way to do this?
This is the last time I'll pause it, okay?
I'm not giving out. I'm just saying it makes your job harder. That's all.
That is true. Fuck it. Whatever.
But
it's fine.
I don't
Be grand.
mind.
Be grand.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be annoying, but I'll do it.
Okay.
But I forgot to say, in the Telegraph interview that I read, he was saying that Keir Starmer is in for a rude awakening at the next election unless he drops his kind of love for trans ideology. Okay.
Hell.
I know, and he said that basically all the women that he knows aren't going to vote for Keir Starmer because of his views on trans people, and he's going to be surprised when the election comes around because more people care about this than we really realise. Do you know?
Of course.
Yeah. So I just thought that was funny. Whereas like, it's weird, it's strange because I don't know what Starmer has to say to convince people that he hates trans people. Do you know? Like, he said it all. Do you know? Oh, yeah.
People have been very worried about me. Thank you to anyone who's been expressing concern. I am okay. I'm trying to. Yeah.
Imagine going to your friend on suicide watch, you know,
That's
like
what
it's
this
his first
video
day out,
wants is
you know,
people shouting
Yeah.
out,
and he's
"We
going to do a
love you,
stand-up
you're
gig,
okay."
and you just got to be supportive, you know.
Just make it another month.
What do they say?
Thank you. Tell us some jokes.
Oh God, jokes! I remember them. Like I'm taking care of myself. I'm on a diet. My version of a diet is I order the same pizza I order every time, except just before it arrives, I make the mental note: be gentle with this one. Don't fuck the pizza. There you go. All the goodwill just leaking out of the room as soon as I get onto my material. Like the Titanic hitting an
The thing I
iceberg.
find weirdest about this is that there's always an old woman in the front row clapping.
Yeah.
You just never think of old women as being, like, part of the anti-cancel culture
Yeah.
consensus. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think
not
in
that-
Britain, usually, you know,
Yeah, Britain is just... It's so weird the way their old people act like our 40-year-olds.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like half of this crowd are like pensioners.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't translate here. Like our pensioners don't even know about
Yeah, that's
trans
so
people.
true. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And these ones are already like so sick of the discourse that they become reactionary, and they go to like alternative comedy nights to try to fight back.
Maybe it's like a sort of conservatism because, you know, there is like, I think there's a lack. Maybe this is a stupid thing to say, but I don't know if there's much preservation in Irish conservatism as there is over there. Like, you know, and they have like the National Trust and all these things and these institutions, you know, and so like they have like opinions on things. I guess Brits I've noticed more. Do you know what I mean? They like to be seen to engage in stuff, and then they think that there was a time when things were good. So they are like going, God, remember when things were good? And they're able to sit there and they're like, things were good when you could say the fucking truth, that a man is a man, you know?
Yeah.
A woman can't have a penis. And they enjoy that kind of like
But it's mad
thing
that
a bit more.
it's like it makes sense to me when it's like they like Piers Morgan or someone like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's like the news. It's like a current affairs TV show.
Mm.
Whereas this like all like builds itself at its aesthetics of like alternative comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like
I do.
why do the old people like that? Should be alienated.
I think they're just fed, like the British media is so toxic as well that like they really do revel and enjoy in their enemies feeling pain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so like he is on like Piers Morgan and all these shows now, and he's saying all, you know, the stuff that he's cancelled and this, that, and the other. I mean, you remember Roy Chubby Brown, Jim Davidson? They have like a whole like history of comedy
That's
over there,
true, yeah,
where you
they
show
do.
up and you see this, and I don't. The way that they're enjoying it is the same way that people enjoy the Daily Show. Do you know? They're just
Yeah.
like ha 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 ha. You know, it's the clapter that ironically, Seth Meyers, I believe, is the person who coined the term clapter.
Really?
That thing where you're just like, you're just determined to laugh at something that, you know.
I wonder how they view Lennon. Like, he's Irish. Do you think they're like... Do you think they're just about not... Like, hate him less than the trans people?
I don't know. I definitely don't think that these people would see them as their equal. They wouldn't see like he's a person and I'm a person. It would be I am a Brit and he is from Ireland. Do you
Yeah,
know?
he's one of the good
But
ones.
but I don't think that they're like. I don't think they really have a hatred towards Irish people. Just this massive indifference and this vague idea that they're different from me.
Yeah,
do you know?
yeah.
And I was thinking of the kind of stand-in that would be because you were saying like, oh, Irish old people, they wouldn't be at this, but like a particular type of Irish old person would. Because remember when during the pandemic allegedly still going through it. I've actually, another thing that's happened since we've been off the air is that I'm a COVID denier now. No, but what I meant is that like, do you remember when we watched Dolores Cahill had that the gig, and like most of the people there were also old, and they're just like, it's all a bit of nonsense over nothing,
that's true. Yeah.
And they're all like free speech people too, and I think that there is an audience that was cultivated during COVID. I don't think that these people are necessarily that. One thing that was interesting about, I watched the first few minutes of him doing stand-up outside the Scottish Parliament, is that in the front row there was a bunch of women with purple hair and like blue hair, and I just thought that was funny, because that would be like if Graham Linehan, which he usually does, just making fun of like trans people, he would go on about how their hair is dyed. You know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting, but there is that kind of like hybrid crowd who are emerging, which is like, you know, I'm going to say it fully, trans exclusionary radical feminists, not just TERF. That's an important thing, is that they do classify themselves as feminists, you know. They are also, there's also the people who are skeptical of COVID and lockdowns, and they basically then, that just kind of mutates into anti-authoritarianism generally, you know. So they'll be sitting there and they'll be watching like a racist comedian, potentially a Comedy Unleashed, or a homophobic one, but they're like, in a free society I should be allowed to hear this type of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, press play again.
Press play.
All right, how much more of this? I mean, like, the stuff that he's saying already is just like, you know,
Should give it a few more minutes.
yeah, I know, but isn't it funny where it's like, so I'm on a diet recently, you're like, fucking man, seriously?
Yeah, it's
Like
funny.
2004, you know?
I know. He's been like, this is too hot for. And then it's like, I eat seafood and I eat it. I want a seafood
Yeah.
diet.
It's like Cara Spain, like, you know? I mean, like, he's also shaped like Cara Spain. I was also saying that his head is getting more Irish every time I see him, you know?
His head compared
he
to his
look-
body is huge. It's crazy.
He is-
And he's also fat. So, like,
Yeah.
it's not like he's this skinny, emaciated
Yeah.
guy. It's like, somehow he's fat and his head is still like 30% of his body mass.
He's very tall as well. I know that,
Yeah.
like, on...
Like, his head must be like 3 times the size of a human head.
Yeah. When I used to watch like the special features for things, I would see him standing next to people, and like we're only seeing him on stage now, but he is a very tall man, you know.
Yeah.
Like he was in Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, and like they made a jokey special feature about how tall Graham Linehan was, and they were just like, Graham is a giant. He is literally like 6'7". Do you know what I mean? He's just like insanely tall. But maybe he's not that. Maybe when if I met him, I'd be like, I could take him. You know.
It's mad because he's very tall, but his muscle tone is extremely low.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I know I'm one to talk, but you know.
Iceberg. I go to the gym 3 times a week, bare minimum.
Shut up.
I realized I had to go to the gym because when you're under the kind of stress that I'm under, then even the most mundane things feel like the opening moments of Casualty. You know, it's not a good sign when you're standing up and you feel like you're at a rave.
What the fuck are you? What is this?
It's not a good thing to get out of breath while thinking about doing something.
Shut up! Fucking hell! This should be on like a
imagine if I
mug
did
or
that.
something.
Yeah. He's breathing very
My
heavily.
phone at some points. I
know.
apologize. One of the things I kind of want to talk about a little bit tonight is I got some good news and some bad news.
Oh, here we go.
The good news is I'm giving up comedy. No, wait. Let me explain the problem, right? If you the thing about comedy is I love it so much that I want to do it really well, you know? And to do it really well, you have to learn the craft. And for a stand-up comedian, that means going to clubs every night and doing it in front of different crowds, not just TERFs who heard about it on, you know, like doing it in front of people who actually hate you. That's kind of what you have to do, you know? And my problem is, I can't be arsed. I'm 55 years old, and basically, at the moment, I'm averaging a gig every 2 months.
Man, you're not wrong about his head. It's so big.
This act, I'll probably get there in my early 90s. Also, other comedians, they look at me and they don't accept me. I
really want to rewind,
They
but there's like a
don't-
woman
they
in the
don't-
second
they're
row
like-
that
they're
is
giving
just
us
Really
like...
a
old
go
woman.
hanging around with puppies.
No, she's got like a yellow wristband and she just like...
On TikTok?
she just looks like not bothered at all.
It's kind of
you
like
know?
that. The
like,
dogs
when's this
know
over?
something's wrong. If you keep hopping, we're not going to be able to smell your arse. You know, and you know that Holyrood experience was even though it was great. Let's face it, a bit of a victory.
That's in Scotland. Apparently doing it outside.
And I'm delighted to. Sorry. Oh, God bless you.
What did you say?
Good man, Graham, he
Again,
said.
that's what I want is sympathy cheers. I want people just to.
Let's check the timer on this.
Thank you very much. No, I do
We
appreciate
are
it.
nearly halfway
Where was
through.
I? What was I saying? Yeah, Holyrood. Even though it was a good experience overall, and it was a good propaganda thing because it kind of drew attention to how fucked comedy is at the moment. It really did. You know, if you can't get a gig at the Edinburgh Fringe, I read there were people saying Graham Linehan is coming with his jokes. Yeah, Helen, we're not on the fucking show. Graham Linehan is coming
Oh,
with his
he must have a
jokes,
podcast
you know?
with that
And
lady.
things like- it just kind of made me think, you know what, this is insane. And I'm not really going to be able to learn the craft while I'm
Who
kind
fucking
of
who?
under this kind of bizarre pressure, you know? However, I have good news. And this is the perfect audience to announce it to.
Just so
I've written a
self-pity.
book.
Goodness.
He's just plugging a book. This isn't comedy.
Anyone got an idea what the title might be?
Unbelievable.
You can't say. You know. No? Go on. No, not cancelled. Anyone else?
That's so funny.
Cancelled. It should be called cancelled.
Oh, they're like cancelled, and then he's on the front, and he's got like tape over his mouth. Like even there, like, is it something really generic and boring that every fucking person who thinks that they're edgy would do? And he's like, oh no, it's actually, well, it is that, but it's not what you said.
It's not quite that. What is it called?
I just, it's actually the name of the thing. Let's let him reveal it to us, but it's the name of the video.
You know what? There's still time to change it. No. Do you know what I was going to call it for some time? I was going to call it, and Father Ted fans will recognize this one. I was going to call it, and now we move on to Liars.
He's just quoting his script. He's
Yeah.
now like people. He's now the average Irish
No,
poster.
It's called Tough Crowd. And
Tough Crowd,
it's
everybody.
about Father Ted and the IT crowd and writing all of them, and then about what happened in the last 5 years and all the madness, and kind of explains my situation and why I think the things that I do. So it's a little.
It's all you talk
hopefully
about.
a little bit better.
It's all you write about. Like, it's,
you know,
like if they're aware of you,
humor
they
people
know.
on Twitter.
And also, like, he's like the Irish Kevin Smith, as in, like, he'll make something and then he will also only ever talk about that and things, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I remember on, like, the commentary tracks for Father Ted, like, they actually released three different DVDs with 3 different commentary tracks because he wanted to talk about them each time. And in the third time, he managed to get Arthur Matthews to come onto them. But every so often, on like, I don't know how I came across some of these DVDs, but he was like, I'm going to have to get Arthur in here to talk about him. He just hates talking about his stuff. I love talking about it. And so he's like, he loves talking about it. He had a blog where he would write about writing the IT crowd, writing Father Ted, creating all these characters, you know. And now he's like, oh, I've written this book about it. And yeah, I mean, the thing that I found interesting is like usually the stuff that he works on himself is like the most boring, you know. Like I only really, I remember some episodes of the IT crowd, but like, let's say with Bernard Black, you know, he's like the curmudgeonly owner of a bookshop, okay? And it's mainly Dylan Moran's show, but in the first season, Graham Linehan helped him out.
Yeah.
But like, there are so many plots that are about this curmudgeonly bookshop owner that also relate to the bookshop and what's going on in the bookshop, you know, and the type of people he might encounter and, you know, like all of his interests and hobbies. Like, you know, he drinks wine, well, that's his hobby really, isn't it? But anyway, you know what I'm getting at? Where you have like the parochial house, all the action that takes place there, all the on this eccentric island and the characters and everything like that. Then you have the IT crowd, and it's like plots of the IT crowd could be like a guy thinks that what was it? I can't even remember the guy's name. Roy. Yeah, Chris O'Dowd. A guy thinks that Chris O'Dowd is homeless, and you're like, that could literally be happening anywhere. Do you know what I mean? This is like a lot of the IT crowd episodes to me were like, because he always loved Seinfeld, but they always seem like kind of Seinfeld plots, but for a guy who's like middle aged and kind of got a bit of money and he lives in London. Like, this is what happens, you know?
Yeah.
Like the way that Larry David always talks about tipping in baseball, where you're just like, fucking man, you like, I don't know how you're still coming up with stuff to talk about with tipping, you know, after all these years. But like, there has been multiple plots of like Roy, the Irish guy, being stingy about money. Maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong about that. I mean, maybe you don't know that, but like, I know that there's a few plots about like interactions with homeless people and how awkward you feel around them.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I remember in one of the last episodes, there's a bit where like there's a homeless woman having a cup of tea, and then Jen throws some coins in by mistake, and it creates all of this monster of a homeless woman is like chasing her down and yelling at her constantly.
Yeah.
And then women, obviously, you know, they love shoes and they have periods, you know.
Yeah.
And that's really much continued into his activism as well, because in all the stuff that I read about him, he's like the women and the children, you know, our women and our children. And like, one of the things that he keeps bringing up as well is how his wife left him because he couldn't make a living, you know. And I was just like, so your wife left you because you couldn't provide? Like, what woman are you describing here? Like, his view of like women is so narrow and desperate, you know. And also they're all breeders as well, as another thing, because the other show he wrote is like Motherland, you know, and he's talking about how women are mothers and they have kids and they have like throw up on their shoulders and they're busy and they're trying to make it to a meeting and bring their kids to football practice, and it's just like so fucking boring. You're so boring.
They always die during childbirth because their child's head is too big. Dies of a grown man's head, even though he's just born.
But like, that's what his stand-up is as well. Is what I was trying to get at. Is that like his stand-up is like this weird cooled off stuff from the mid 2000s, where like you can see his collaborators were like, you know, brought a bit of eccentricity or weirdness to it. But like, the thing that is funny about his stuff is that it's like really normal stuff, but then it's like has a bit of a weirdness to it. But then it doesn't seem like he's got that same weirdness.
No.
Because, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He just is a normal bit.
Yeah, exactly. And like the stuff with like let's say, I remember on his blog, not to keep going on, but on his blog he talked about the Big Bang Theory and how he actually liked the Big Bang Theory, okay? And I don't really like the Big Bang Theory, but like when you're watching it, it's like these guys are nerds, okay? And they're just dweebs, and everything revolves around them being fucking nerds, okay? Now, regardless of whether you think like, well, they're such nerds, they hate the Phantom Menace, you're like, all right, whatever. But they're still nerds, you know? Whereas with the IT crowd, he genuinely was like, yeah, because my show is about geek culture and nerds. And then you're like, is it though? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Like, I remember that one of the things that happened is Jen is doesn't know anything about IT and tries to go for an interview at a different job. And then the way she convinces them to hire her is that she knows nerds, okay?
I think that's
And
the
one
very
of the
first episode of the IT crowd.
No, it's not.
That's
It's
how she gets
actually,
her job.
No, she gets her job because she pretends she knows IT. But then later on, she feels unappreciated in the office and she decides that she's going to leave. And then they think that they can get away fine without her for a while.
Oh, right.
So that's
yeah.
the episode where like he gets coffee on his shirt, so he doesn't have a shirt, and then he gets kicked out of the offices and he basically becomes homeless by the end of the day.
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing is, she's convincing this recruiter that, I know nerds. And one thing she says is that, do you know Guided by Voices? I know everything they've ever written. And if like you know anything about Guided by Voices, these are like the biggest jocks ever. Do you know, like if you go to their gigs, they're like beer swilling, like hard rock sort of guys. Do you know?
Yeah.
They're not like a nerd band. You know, they're kind of like, you know, like I don't know if the term even exists anymore, but like the type of people who would have read the AV Club in 2010 and had like flannel shirts and like been wanting to get a Twin Peaks revival. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not nerds in like this actual sense that they're ostracized because they have communities and livelihoods, and it's like, yeah, you know, I just work in like, I don't know, fucking graphic design, or I work at like, you know, I don't know what I'm trying. Do you know what I'm trying to get at? Is that like whenever he describes what a nerd is, he's just describing himself, and then it's like, I don't really think of you as a nerd. I just think of you as this kind of guy who's got niche interests and is a bit insecure. Do you know?
Yeah. I get you.
I don't know. Anyway, how much more? Well, we better get to the end of it. Let's just fucking go. No more pauses. Have I been talking too much? What, do you have anything to say about that?
No.
Let's do this. Let's fucking watch this. Let's see him go in on trans people now.
Because it's a tough. I do have a tough time. I went into town recently, and I don't normally go into town because it's a bit of a fraught experience. When I say town, I mean Soho, because I used to be in the media. And that's what I think of as town, you know. So I had to go in, and it wasn't until I was already in that I realised it was Pride. Not just the month, which seems to be still going on, but the holy day of Pride, when Santa leaves dildos under your sex harness and the Son of God was born to something or other. It was the actual day, and it's very, very, it's a bit like, I'm a heterosexual man, so mass demonstrations of joy, I don't like them anyway. But Pride is particularly dangerous for me. Well, I don't want to, and I apologise to any Jewish people here. But
Did you see that?
A little bit like crossing occupied France.
They cut out something he said.
Go back?
Mass demonstrations of joy.
So
I
wait
don't
out for
like
this
them
one. Wait for
anyway. But Pride is particularly dangerous for me. Well,
See?
I don't want to.
They just cut out.
No, it's a
But it
sharp
is
cut.
a
He was
little
just
bit
about
like
saying something.
Crossing
Oh, right,
occupied
okay.
France while Jewish.
I wonder if he said somebody's name and accused him of being a
checked by
paedophile.
someone. So you're out today? What are you doing in town? Oh, you know, I'm just picking up some supplies, you know. Oh. You did not go to Pride? No.
I thought he was pro.
Do you not like
LGB.
Pride?
Yeah, me too.
You know?
No, I'm an ally. Yeah, Can I ask, why do you always smoke with the cigarette in between the middle finger and the finger on the left? Oh, I don't know. I suppose I am a little bit queer.
Oh, yeah.
Since you enjoy Pride so much, why don't we sing the Pride song?
The Pride song.
The Pride song? Yes, yes. You know, the song we all sing without the knowledge of the parents in school.
What are you talking about?
Oh, yes, yes. I'll begin it and you sing the end. Yes? And if you do not sing the end, well, maybe you'll get off the train with me and we'll have a further chat. Okay, here we go. You ready? Yes, yes. LGBTQ. To A SS.
SS, Nazis, huh? I love that.
Hey, listen, I think that's it. I just want to say, God bless you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. You've been a real help these last few weeks, you know, and I really, really feel it. So I can go a bit longer until this book comes out and I start making money again.
You make money, will he?
So
That was painful.
thank you, and yeah, I'll see you around. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, there's the thing about like, his stand-up is also a sketch. Like, he wrote himself a sketch, you know?
Yeah, and it's also like a weird meta thing. I don't know. I don't like it at all. Like it doesn't.
No,
even,
I mean,
like, it doesn't even work as stand-up. The bit where he was
No.
trying to be, the bit where he like, you could feel the passion. It's a
Yeah.
diet bit at the start where he was like, I'm going on a diet. That was easy. You know, he didn't really give a shit about that.
yeah.
When it came to the pride stuff, he almost got
Yeah.
too angry when he was writing it for it to make sense.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, because, and like, well, he's kind of like,
It's like he's
like,
going
yeah, he got into like a full flow of it though, I thought, but he was like, you could feel the anger in him palpating, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just,
It's like he's going into town and Pride is on, and then he runs into a guy who thinks he's gay or something. But no, he thinks he's an ally.
but he has to pretend to be gay to be an ally, isn't that basically? Or maybe
Yeah.
not, no, I guess not. I guess not. It's like ally, but then he's like, yeah, so you can need Nazi Germany, obviously, and then it's kind of like, what's that one? The fucking, the movie. What's the movie? The Great Escape.
Yeah.
That's what it's meant to be, like, you know, that they catch it, you know?
But then he goes, so is he not an ally? What does he think of, here's a question. What does he think of gay people?
I think that he thinks, like
That they like
he sides with the
co-conspirators?
LGB a lot. Sort of. I think he just means, broadly speaking, that pride and that type of inclusive sort of thing. He's like, no, I'm not inclusive of these people. I support LGB, but I don't support you,
Right,
you know?
yeah.
And a lot of them also think that queer is a slur. So that was kind of cheap heat there too, you know?
Okay.
So he was kind of having a go at the would-be people on social media who tried to, you know, tell you how to fucking think, you know? And you need to think like them, otherwise. That's the part that's funny, where it's like, otherwise what? Like, he keeps going like, oh, my life's been destroyed, and I was like, no, I mean, I've said it before, like, he destroyed his own life. That much is
Yeah.
obvious, because like, there are people who write in the Guardian like weekly about how trans people aren't real and don't deserve rights and shouldn't exist, you know? Like recently, I don't know if you saw this, but for his book, he got 2 quotes for it, which caused a bit of consternation.
No.
Jonathan Ross had a quote on it, but Jonathan Ross has been like a low-key TERF for a very long time. Same with his wife. And the next quote was Richard Ayoade provided a quote for it as well.
Really?
And yeah, and So like I was talking to a friend of the pod, Mark Maloney, and we're both kind of like fans of Richard Ayoade. So we were kind of just like, even at this stage, we're trying to be like, maybe he's just trying to be nice to his friend, and maybe there's like some angle about this where he's like, fucking man, it's all right. I'll give you a bit of a dig out. You're like, you've had a hard time. But in that interview for the Telegraph, because Jonathan Ross is like, this is an important book which needs to be read, or something like that, and then Richard Ayoade gives the typical kind of like, this is like a Samuel Fuller film where the energy is at the start and then at the end or whatever, and you're just like, it's just the most vague, non-committal thing.
Yeah.
But in the interview in the Telegraph, he's like, Richard and Jonathan have like stood by me, and they're like my closest friends, and I understand that Richard might have a movie coming out, so it was very brave of him to put down that quote the way he did, Now keep in mind, like Arthur Matthews, in the same article, he is so angry at Arthur Matthews. But Arthur Matthews, similarly, when interviewed by the Irish Independent, was like, oh, Graham's on his own path with something, and I believe in free speech, and he should be allowed to say these things,
Yeah.
I can't go with them on every bit of it, but like, he's very brave in his stance. He basically said something to that effect. And Graham Linehan was like, you fucking traitor. You know what I mean? So like, you can just tell like, if he's saying to Richard Ayoade, oh no, fair play to Richard Ayoade, then it means like also Richard Ayoade, like his, he's married into a very conservative family. Lawrence Fox would be his brother-in-law. If you know Lawrence Fox. Yeah.
She's Billy. She married to Billy Piper.
Yeah, that was his ex-wife. I'm trying to think. Richard Ayoade also lives in a very like affluent area, but also like he went to like Cambridge. You know what I mean? Like when you go to like Footlights, which is like one of the main kind of, they're like Footlights are like where I think Mitchell and Webb were in Footlights.
It's like every
anybody who's
English comedy act.
Yeah, they're all from like one of these kind of Cambridge or Oxford groups, and they go up to Edinburgh, and then that gives them, I think, at some point, kind of some sort of like prestige. Do you know what I mean? Like, because when Edinburgh was an actual fringe festival, but now it's obviously not a fringe festival at all. But like, but anyway, what was my point? Just that he is like a well-to-do fella who's on the panel show circuit, and probably has the trans exclusionary radical feminist opinions, but just keeps them to himself and is able to make a tidy living. Whereas Graham Linehan can't do that and is not able to make a living. And he's like, everybody else is to blame. But imagine going up there and then you're like, I'm going to go and watch the comedy tonight. And then this guy's like, thanks so much for being there for me. And you're like, who is this guy again? Oh, you wrote Father Ted. Right. And like, so what happened, Because like so many people I know, they're like, you just listen, he's just talking about women and girls and like I may not agree with him, but I think he's got the right to say it. And then you like show them 2 tweets that he's written. Like you don't need to pull out your phone and go, here's what he's posted in the past hour. And then they go, this man is not well. This man is clearly unhinged, And a thing that I find also kind of interesting is that he keeps going like, my wife, I couldn't make a living, so that's why my wife left me. And I was like, your wife is also a writer and makes money, so like I don't know why you're making this into such a thing,
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm gonna get rid of this guy who is clearly just dragging me down. Again, I have my theories about Helen Serafinowicz. I think that she does have slightly turfy views, but she also has the good sense, like, I don't need to make this my fucking life and destroy my life over it.
Yeah.
But either way, the thing is, she goes, I'm going to divorce him. I'm no longer Helen Linehan. I'm Helen Serafinowicz, okay? And then he's gone, they destroyed my family. They kept going after my family. And it's just like, now, like every time somebody in the Daily Mail or the Telegraph or whatever, every time they write an article, they have a picture of Graham Linehan and his ex-wife. And it's just like, you keep dragging your wife into this. Like, your wife made it very clear she does not want to be a part of this, okay?
Yeah.
So now if you type in Helen Serafinowicz, what you'll see on like, is like articles of Graham Linehan going like, Graham Linehan's ex-wife, Helen Serafinowicz. It's like, does she think that she wants that sort of SEO? Do you know what I mean? Like... Anyway, it's just funny to me. Like, he's so weird and self-referential, and they really are like, you know, like it is just like he's going on and talking about what's happening on Twitter, and then they're like, those people I don't like them, ha 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 ha, you know.
Well, it's good to have him back, and it's good to be back.
It's good to be back on top.
And this is we're wrapping up the episode now.
We're wrapping it up. So this has been Celtic Ligers.
Back in action. Just Celtic Ligers.
Is it Celtic Ligers 2 or?
No, let's just call it Celtic Ligers.
All right, fine. Celtic Ligers. I guess our socials are still
edition.
up. So. Our socials are still up. I'll be able to get us a Blue Sky as well because I've got invite codes.
What's Blue Sky?
It's kind of the hopeful replacement of Twitter, although maybe it's good that Twitter is not replaced, I would say, you know.
Yeah, let's get a Snapchat.
Yeah,
I have some
Snapchat.
I have some girls I want to follow.
Yeah, no, sometimes if you don't have anything, it's okay to not join in. That's, you know, what I have to tell myself sometimes, you know.
Just say it.
No, it's like if you got nothing, just leave it, you know. It's like, oh, he said something. Think. What's another social media? Go on to TikTok and do it.
Yeah.
I don't actually have TikTok, so I don't know anything
kids.
about that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I don't know if the Patreon is still be up. Probably only be one episode a week, and we'll never do Patreon again.
Yeah.
Or wait, what was that? Do you think we should have a Patreon?
Yeah.
All right, fine. Well, let's talk about this in a minute. We'll get... And now to play us out, Dominic Frisby with...
Do the maybe.
What?
I like the maybe one.
All right, fine.
They said it's an emergency. You cannot comprehend the magnitude, the urgency. The world's about to end. We must do what these experts say if we are to avoid extinction and oblivion. Act now or be destroyed. The end is nigh. This fact must be addressed. Nevertheless, maybe climate change is just a hoax, a racket to exploit well-meaning folk. To get subsidies, grants and aid advanced, they say there's no solution. Really the goal is social control and to sell absolution. Maybe climate change is just a hoax. They said it has its origins inside a Chinese lab. And that it's a conspiracy, a global power grab. They said don't trust the media, it spreads doubt and it spreads fear. You're going to lose your freedom, it's all so crystal clear. A new world order, mass control, the Great Reset. With all due respect, maybe conspiracy theorists got it right. The nutters and loons on those weird websites. Endless tests, house arrests, censored if you get snappy. Going abroad is as good as outlawed. You have to wear a face nappy. Population control, surveillance patrols. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Maybe conspiracy theorists got it right.